your parents. What was it like transitioning here? I want to think in my mind that it was smooth and easy, but coming from Vietnam and into a new community, a new country, what was that experience like for them?
Well, it was difficult, I would say. And you know, my wife and I talk about this a lot because there's a difference between coming to a new place as an immigrant, i.e., for economic reasons, for education reasons, any variety of reasons. But you're purposely going for opportunity to further your own ambition or your family's, etc. But coming not as an immigrant but as a refugee is different. You're usually running away from something,
Right.
from war, from strife, from political issues. And so they were in that category. And that was 50 years ago. They actually, many Americans will remember April 30th, 75, because that was when the iconic helicopters lifted off the American embassy and the Americans fled, and they were done. They were out of there. And what that left was a country in strife and communists taking over, of course. And if you were from the South, which they were, and you were involved in the military, which my grandfather and my uncle were, and if you were a professor, if you had commerce, if you had businesses, you didn't want to be around really because property would be confiscated, you'd be put in concentration camps, etc. So they fled and they got out, and they were lucky in many respects because they survived a strenuous journey. But um, they were sponsored by a Catholic charities group out in Denver, funny enough. So that's where I still have family and where they initially landed. Very large family. My mom was one of 11. She was the eldest. So didn't have an opportunity to get an education because you just start working and doing what you can to help out and to put food on the table. So I think one of the beautiful benefits of um, coming in the generation after is one appreciating that background, that history, and then knowing that I have so many more opportunities, and I'm not burdened by some of the same things that my aunts and uncles and my parents were. So it's a beautiful thing, but it was tough because the sentiment in America, in Texas, in all across the U.S. was not great at that time. It was a tough war. Tens of thousands of American lives were lost. And then there were newly arrived people that started coming into our country, and there's just a large diaspora of Vietnamese people that are in the U.S. now, but they're also in Australia, in Canada, in France, and other places. And at the time, I remember growing up in the '80s, it wasn't exactly popular to say, "Oh yeah, my parents came from Vietnam," because I think that carried a lot of things with it, where you didn't, me personally, or many people, you don't want to have that burden, that invisible backpack to carry around with you. So, yeah, it was very interesting. But it's a new era now. I've been fortunate to go back 4 or 5 times. There's a lot of business opportunity there too, by the way.
In Vietnam.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um,
You connect culturally. You're able to go back. You have family that are still there that you're able to visit.
extended family. Yep.
Okay.
Some cousins, some, further off, relatives. And it's hybrid where they clearly recognize I'm American. I
Right.
was born and bred in
Right.
America. Uh, that's who I am to the core. But obviously, I also carry many
Yeah.
characteristics of being culturally Vietnamese.